Let me get ready to give you a thought to build your faith on, but to do that, I want to close with a story and then give you an action item. Here's the build your faith thought that I want to give you, and it's this: that Jesus has and is advocating for your worth and your rights. No matter what you've done or what you will do, Jesus has said you matter. You are important, you are significant, you are loved. And Jesus has fought for and died for your worth and your ability to matter in culture and to have a seat at the table. I remember coming out of a sporting event one time. I was probably in my mid-20s. And I'm not in my mid-20s anymore. I know some of you are shocked, but I'm not. And I was coming out of a sporting event, and I remember my dad and I were walking next to the arena, and it's known to happen in major cities and next to sporting events, there were people begging. And so there were a group of men that were kind of scattered along the arena that were begging. And they were asking for money and saying they needed help, and some of them had signs about God and could you help and all that kind of stuff. And I remember for a second, I'm ashamed to say, that I had a thought in my heart, which was, I'm so glad I'm not like these guys. And it kind of went down this road of, if I give them some money, they're just going to do something dumb with it. And I started to think, I'm so glad I'll never find myself in this place. I'm so glad that I got my stuff together. I'm so glad that I've been able to take care of my family in a way that I wouldn't find myself here. I'm so glad that I would never end up like this. And if they had only paid attention to their mom and dad, and if they had only listened in school, and if they had only... And I kind of in my heart had this superiority and this smugness. I remember later on that night, quietness of just me and God, and God just convicted me so much. And I remember he saying to me, you don't think they matter to me as much as you do? And I remember feeling this sense that God said, I love them and died for them, and I don't make junk. I've never made junk. And you need to understand this weekend. There is not a person that is here that is an accident. And I don't care what their skin color is, their financial status, their education level, or their sexual orientation. Jesus would say to you, I love them, and I died for them, and they mattered to me. I'm so glad that our Creator has never looked at us and said, I'm done with people like that. I'm so glad that he's never looked and said, one more mistake and you're out. Can we please remember that it is only by God's grace that we're all not sitting by an arena begging for something? Can we please all remember that it's only by God's grace that you find yourself in a church or watching a church to where God has brought you to a place where he has moved on your heart and you are interested in hearing what he would say to you? Because all people are equal and equally matter to God. And God says, take the love that I have for you and go love others. So here's your homework assignment. I want you to search your heart. And I want you to think about a person or a people group that you have a hard time loving. That you have a person or a people group that you have a hard time loving. And maybe it's a race, maybe it's a lifestyle, maybe it's a financial group, maybe it's a religious group, maybe it's a political group. And I want you to ask God, God, help me love them like you do. Help me love them like you do. I want you to ask God to change you rather than changing them. And I want to ask, church, What if I did that? And what if you did that? And you were able to start loving the people that, if you're honest, you've seen as unlovable. Dare I say that we would be like a Jesus who had to go through Samaria to find a Samaritan woman and to invite her into his love. I want to be a part of a church that loves people first, and not because they can or will do anything for us, but because we were first loved. Would you stand and pray with me as we dismiss?